Absolutely. I think the main problem is spiritual. It's not political. I think the reason why that we have all these problems with migrants and refugees is because our lack of the Christian faith. It's not the strength of Islam that is the problem. It's the weakness of the Christians. And that we have this sort of misguided compassion or mercy towards, strangers we don't even know who are. I don't think it's a real charity. I think it's a kind of self-focused feeling. You want to do something so you feel good yourself. But if you really want to be charitable and love your neighbor, you should tell them about Christianity at least. Or you should be firm and say, this is a Christian society, we welcome you, but these are the rules. And we don't want your rules to impose our Christian culture. But because it is so weak, our Christian culture, we have no idea, or we have lost the moral compass. We don't know anymore how to distinguish between good and evil. We think that all things are the same. I mean, like we're very driven by this relativism. And this is really, really the weak point in our culture. It means we don't know when to say no and we don't know when to say yes. And that's why many migrants, this is what we see. They want to impose Islamic law in our culture. And many people think that it is a sign of tolerance to say yes. And a lot of people don't. So we have this huge confrontation within our own circles, in our own culture, what is right and what is wrong.
Some kind of a civil conflict?
I think there is. Because half of the country is against the political class and what they're trying to introduce, this multicultural idea, which I think can work very well if there is a Christian foundation. I mean, what I've really noticed here in Moscow is that you have quite a lot of Muslims here. And whenever I walk around in Moscow, I don't see any women covering their heads with cloths, head cloths. In Europe, you see it everywhere. It's like when they come to Europe, they put on the head cloth. So I asked, people here in Russia, how come that the Muslim women don't cover their hair? And they say, well, maybe they don't need it. And I think the reason why they don't need it is because the majority here is Christian Orthodox. So they know they are tolerated, they know they're welcome, but they should not impose Islamic laws on this society. They should be Russians. And I think Russia is a multicultural society, but the reason why it works so well is because there is a Christian foundation. Because in a Christian society, all minorities are welcome, but they should not impose their religion on other people. And this is the problem in Europe, is that we don't have a Christian framework, we don't have a Christian culture anymore to keep people in place. That's the problem. And because we're confused spiritually, morally, culturally, we don't know anymore, like I said before, what is wrong and what is right, what is good and evil. It means everything is just completely up in the air and everything is just relativistic. And you can see that society will collapse eventually, or some other, belief system would take over.